Welcome back, students. Now let us continue. After the general study, now we will study a useful role of bacteria in medicine. So as I told you that this chapter is about the economic importance of bacteria. So economic importance, bacteria is very important in the field of medicine, in the field of agriculture and industry. So first we will study how bacteria are useful in the field of medicine. So when we talk about medicine, bacteria are used to prepare basically three types of things. One is antibiotics, then serums and vaccines. So one by one we will have a look on all these three. Now first of all, what are antibiotics? An antibiotic is a chemical substance produced by living organism which can stop the growth of some disease producing bacteria and fungi. Means antibiotics are actually what? They are chemical substances. They are produced by living organisms and they are so strong that they can stop the growth of some other living organism. Okay, now you might have heard about penicillin, the first antibiotic which was discovered by Alexander Fleming. Many times you might have read in junior classes, and actually it was his chance discovery. How? See, once the 1929 Alexander Fleming observed that while growing bacteria, he has grown a culture of bacteria, means he was growing bacteria in petri dish, and he observed that something has stopped the growth of bacteria. The bacteria were not reproducing further. What has stopped the growth? That when he saw and studied was a type of mold. Mold is a type of fungus. So when he studied about this mold, he discovered that was actually a fungus, Penicillium notatum. So he discovered that this mold produced a substance which stopped, or you can say which suppressed, the growth of many bacteria, and the substance he named as penicillin. But this antibiotic penicillin is produced from fungus. Both fungi and both bacteria, both are used to prepare many types of antibiotics. So penicillin was the first product of the mold fungus. And after that, next antibiotic was discovered, that is streptomycin. You might have seen, or if you not, you can see certain medicines. Whenever we are infected, the doctor prescribes us antibiotics. And there are certain names, for example, this streptomycin, chloromycetin, tetracycline and penicillin. What are these? These are the antibiotics. What are antibiotics? Antibiotics are the chemical substances produced by bacteria which can stop the growth of certain living organisms. Means they are produced by living organisms and they can stop the growth of other disease producing living organisms such as bacteria and fungi. Fine. Now this is a table given, and some well-known antibiotics, their sources and diseases treated are as follows. So you need to learn 2-3 examples. So these are the names of the antibiotics, like penicillin. So from where it was obtained? It is obtained from fungus, a type of mold which is actually a fungus. The name is Penicillium chrysogenum, and it is used to treat the diseases like tetanus and diphtheria. Similarly, streptomycin, it is derived from Streptomyces griseus. All these streptomyces and the streptomyces, these are the different species of bacteria. From these bacteria, we are deriving these antibiotics. And then these antibiotics we are giving to the living organisms so that they can be freed of these diseases. They can stop the growth of the microorganisms which cause these particular diseases. Like for tuberculosis, TB, this is given streptomycin. For typhoid, we give chlorotetracycline. Rickettsial fevers, we give erythromycin. So these are the names of the antibiotics. So you have to learn the definition of antibiotic and 2-3 examples of antibiotics. And now the next topic is criteria for a good antibiotic. This can also come like give 2 points of good antibiotic. Means how can we prepare, or what should be the criteria for preparing an antibiotic? Antibiotic, while preparing, it should be able to kill a variety of disease producing or microorganisms. Means it should be broad spectrum. Here broad spectrum means it should has its effect on a large scale. It should be able to kill large variety of those disease producing microorganisms. Secondly, antibiotics should be such that it does not produce any side effects. It should not have any undesirable side effects. And thirdly, it should not kill normal bacteria of the host. Like we have discussed that already, we have so many bacteria in our body, in our intestine, in our skin, in our stomach, in our whole alimentary canal. So these antibiotics should not be able to disturb or destroy the normal good bacteria of the host. So while preparing antibiotic, we see that these should be the criteria. Okay. Now what are the other uses of antibiotics apart from these, that they are used to stop the growth of disease causing pathogens? Apart from these antibiotics are also used as food preservatives, especially for fresh meat and fish. Means they will again stop the growth of certain microorganisms. And they are also for treating animal feed, for controlling plant pathogens. The pathogens are the disease causing organisms. Kills diseases causing harmful microorganisms. Okay. So here in this you need to study about antibiotics definition, 2 examples, criteria for good antibiotic, and some uses. Second use of bacteria is to prepare serums. So first you have studied that in the field of medicine, bacteria are used to prepare antibiotic. And now second use of bacteria is to prepare serum. Now first of all you need to know what is this serum. Serum is actually, you have studied that in blood we have its fluid part, plasma, right? Inside plasma there are proteins which are already soluble in them, and basically the name is fibrinogen proteins. So when we separate these protein fibrinogen from the plasma, so whatever is left behind, the fluid which is left behind, it contains many antitoxins and antibodies. That fluid is then called as serum. So what is serum? First of all you should know actually what is serum. Serum is the plasma from which fibrinogen proteins have been removed. Okay, so let us see here the definition. Serum actually means blood plasma from which fibrinogen has been removed. Fibrinogen is the protein fibers, right? It may contain numerous chemical substances. So after removing these proteins, what is left in the plasma? That is certain chemical substances, and these are antibodies and antitoxins. Then these antitoxins can also be used. We are introducing serums and they are used for curing certain diseases, for killing the disease causing pathogens. Now how these serums are prepared? These serums are not given directly. First they are prepared in animal's body. Serums are prepared in animal's body. Which animals? Basically horse and cow, or some other animals also sometimes, horse and cow. How we prepare? So serums contain antitoxins of particular pathogen. Serums are used as preventive measure against bacterial invasion. For preparing serum, a small dose of bacterial toxin is introduced. First of all, we inject a small dose of bacterial toxin. Means bacteria which produces poisonous substance, that is toxin. And after that, in a healthy animal, first of all we will introduce this. So when we will introduce it in the blood of this particular animal, horse or cow, will start producing the antibodies or the antitoxins. Okay, the body produces antitoxins to neutralize the effect of toxin. So after repeating this process, so again we will introduce, again the body will produce antitoxins. So then we will collect the blood of such a healthy animal which is now rich in so many antitoxins, and we will take out the serum from its blood plasma. and on chilling, then it clears as a straw colored liquid. We separate the straw colored liquid from the plasma, and that is called now serum. Now these serums are used to cure many diseases, such for example snake bite treatment. Now to means to reduce the effect of poison toxin by the snake, we are introducing serum that is called antivenom, and it is called antivenin, and this antivenin is produced from the blood of horse in the same manner. Okay, and nowadays the science has, you know, that it is very much advanced, so we are using the process of genetic engineering. In genetic engineering, what we are doing, we are introducing human genes in certain bacteria, and then those bacteria are allowed to grow, cultures grow very rapidly, and from then whatever that gene produces, that we can collect. For example, one example is given, we are extracting hormone insulin. We have studied about insulin, which is produced by pancreas, right, which controls our blood sugar. So this insulin is also produced by genetic engineering. Now there are certain other examples they have given of how, what type of serums have been so far formed and what they are used to cure. So example is serum for genetically modified bacteria, means by genetic engineering we have developed blood clotting factor 8. One example, this is used for the treatment of hemophilia disease, right? Similarly, factor 9, again it is used for the treatment of hemophilia B. So this was about serums. So you should know that serums are prepared in some other animal's body, maybe horses or cow, and they are prepared by first by introducing toxins, and then when their blood will form, their immune system will form antitoxins. Then we collect the blood. From the blood we separate the serum. That serum will be rich in antitoxins. Now that antitoxins we can now use to cure the diseases, right? Now the third way in which bacteria are useful are the vaccines. So you have studied about vaccines in class 8. Vaccine, as I told you, is a weakened germ or a dead germ substance which we are introducing in the body, which will now activate our immune system, right? And vaccination means introduction of weakened germs or dead germ substance into the body for developing resistance to a particular disease. So vaccines are available for variety of diseases, like you have studied cholera, typhoid, measles, chickenpox, and once we inject in the body, so since they contain weak form or very mild form germs, we may get the disease in very mild form, but we will not come to know. But our immune system will be stimulated to produce the antitoxins, and thus we can prevent from the disease. So you need to study the definitions in this topic. Definition of antibodies, definition of vaccine, serum, vaccination, antitoxin. Antitoxin and toxin. Toxin is poisonous substance. So antitoxin will be a substance produced in animal body which reacts with the poison produced by the invading germs, right? Now vaccines examples, antitoxins are also two examples you can study for vaccines. One is, if we are using killed bacteria, means in dead form, the example is TAB vaccine for typhoid. You have to learn these examples, they will come in 1 mark questions. TAB vaccine for typhoid, and second is living weakened bacteria for BCG vaccine for tuberculosis. Okay, so TAB vaccine for typhoid and BCG vaccine for tuberculosis. For BCG vaccine we are introducing living bacteria but very mild form, weakened form, and for this killed bacteria we are using in case of TAB vaccine for typhoid. Then we also have toxoids. Toxoids, as the word suggests, are again toxins, means poisonous substances, but they are inactivated. So toxoids are inactivated toxins of the particular bacteria which can still stimulate the production of antibodies, such as means they can stimulate your immune system to produce antibodies, like for diphtheria and tetanus. Okay, so this is all about the role of bacteria in medicine. Now we will study role of bacteria in the field of agriculture in the next video. Thank you.